In 1966, there was a boy named Richard Montanez. He came from a poor Mexican family who worked in a winery with a drunkard as a father. As a minority, he was prone to bullying. The bullies tend to disturb his lunch during recess and wasted his burrito only because it had peas inside, which they said was food for the poor, but despite that, he didn't feel bad about it. He even went to the school the very next day bringing more that he gave to the girl he liked. He also had one of the bullies try the burrito he brought and made him fall in love with the taste. When the other bullies wanted a bite, he made him pay 25 cents for each burrito. Since then, he became a successful burrito seller at school and got a lot of orders. The money Richard collected was finally enough for him to buy chocolate for his desired girl. He then went to the convenience store, intending to buy the chocolate, only to get himself arrested after attracting too much attention for bringing a lot of money with him. During the 60s, the Mexicans were still considered low class and tended to get the wrong judgment. Richard was treated like a criminal by the local police and was arrested. Since then, after a lot of criminal-like treatment he got, he ended up becoming one of them. During the 70s, Richard had grown into a teenager and was familiar with wrong judgment and bad treatment from the police. With long hair and a mustache, Richard became a part of gangsters and drug dealers. He and his girl from elementary school, Judy, who became his girlfriend, seemed to be together always. One day, their relationship went too far and Judy ended up pregnant. Since then, as if he was struck by lightning, Richard had a realization of what he had done this whole time. He realized that he had done wrong, and as time passing, he began to keep his distance from his drug dealer friends. In 1982, Richard and Judy finally married and had 2 children. Richard worked as an electrician who barely met the end of the month. In the end, this family had to rely on Judy's salary working as a shopkeeper, which was still not enough to support the lives of 2 children, and they barely meet the end of the month. While Richard was still looking for a better job, Judy worked as a seller on the street. Felt he needed help to provide for his family, Richard finally returned to his parents' house, where in fact he didn't seem too fond to meet his father. It was shown when he finally met them, he was treated badly by his father. He then went out to meet old friends. Richard wanted to return to selling drugs, but it turned out that Tony Romero, the gang leader, forbade him to return to the streets because he felt sorry for his family. It turned out that Tony was already finished with his dark past too and now worked in a food factory. Knowing that Tony worked in a factory, Richard asked him to find him a position in the company too. Tony then told him to bring his application to his workplace. The next day, Richard came to the food factory, which turned out to be Frito-Lay, a food industry that produced snacks like Cheetos, Lay's, and Doritos. Fortunately, Richard wasn't immediately refused but was told to fill out the application form that had been prepared by the company. Felt confused and not confident to fill out the form, he went home to fill it out later.